Hello, and welcome to
Papi Approved Movies.
My name is Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
In our podcast, we will review and critique my favorite PG-13 movies.
Movies that I wasn't allowed to watch until I turned 13.
Every week, Natalie and I will watch a new PG-13 movie.
And I'll see if Papi's movies live up to the hype.
Which, of course, they will.
Today we're going to be watching Dodgeball, a true underdog story.
Before we begin, there will be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie and don't want it to be spoiled,
press pause and come back when you're finished. Now, Papi, tell me the deets on this movie.
Okay. Dodgeball, a true underdog story, came out in 2006 with a runtime of 1 hour and 32 minutes. It can be streamed on HBO Max. It was written and directed by Rawson Marshall Thuber. The main stars are Ben Stiller, Christine Taylor, and Vince Vaughn. Fun facts, this movie is filled with tons of cameos. But my favorite is the oh-so-dated Lance Armstrong. He was a hero for so many by winning the Tour de France multiple times after coming back from cancer, only to come down burning when he was caught cheating and had all his titles taken back. So what do you think, Nat?
Well, I like this movie. It was short, and I like shorter movies. As we discovered last time, I have a short attention span.
It did have action scenes, if you count sports as action scenes, but not really.
Not really, but like all the action scenes with quotation marks were like necessary to the story, you know?
Okay.
And I thought it was funny in lots of parts.
Okay. So what do you give it?
I give it a 5 star.
5 stars? No way. I am so shocked by that. I know that you laughed a couple of times. So Sophia and Natalie are very different when it comes to watching a movie. Natalie will smirk every so often. Sophia just laughs the whole time. And so sometimes when I see Natalie laughing at, I go, okay, I think she's enjoying this one. 5 stars, huh?
I don't laugh at anything.
You did. You had a couple of moments where you thought something was funny.
No, usually I don't laugh at anything.
No, usually you don't. Yeah. So 5 stars. Nice. Pretty good. This is Mean Girls quality, huh?
Yeah. It's one of those movies that don't really take itself too seriously, which is good. Because it's not meant to be serious at all.
No, that's exactly right. So there's a lot of jokes about itself in the movie. Kind of makes fun of itself, and that's kind of the funny part of it.
Yeah. And I also thought that in certain parts where I thought it was going to go one way, like a trope, they didn't follow very many tropes, which is nice because it's like less boring. It's more interesting.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I thought it was hilarious. Watching it again made me laugh really hard every time. So I did see some things that you'll probably bring up later on toward the end of the episode.
Yeah. Also, I didn't write very much for this movie. I was telling you earlier about how when I was trying to write down my notes, that a lot of my notes I was taking while watching the movie were like, I'd be mid-word and then I just wouldn't finish the sentence because I'd get distracted by the movie.
So it's good. You weren't even able to do a good job writing your notes because you were entertained by watching the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't we get into the recap?
Okay. The movie begins with a commercial for Globo Gym. White Goldman, founder and president, talks about how their gym is better and fat shames everyone. Their slogan is, "We're better than you, and we know it." Do you like that commercial? Is that the gym you want to go to?
No. Don't you think that's not very healthy mindset that you're doing just to work out? Imagine going to a gym and then everyone's hating on you and body shaming you and just being mean. That you wouldn't ever want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the most popular business. And how he says, it's only your fault if you don't hate yourself enough. Who would want to go to a gym that way? How does that marketing work? You would never want to go to that gym just because you were just so afraid of being bullied.
That's true. Yeah. I guess the only people that would go there are people that are already fit, right? Or that they think they're the most beautiful thing ever already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
The funny thing is too, and I didn't write it in my notes, but then when you brought up the gym, was that they have their own plastic surgery ward. So you can even get plastic surgery at the gym. So
yeah, it's not really a gym. You can just get rid of all your body fat and then
yeah, and then have surgery to fix it. I don't know. Peter LaFleur wakes up watching the commercial. He gets up and goes to work in an old car that actually breaks down on the way to work. He's the owner of Average Joe's Gym, which is across the street from Globo. The gym is old and run down. As he walks in, we meet some of the gym regulars. Owen, a sad young man that no one wants to date. Gordon, a middle-aged man who loves obscure sports. Justin, an aspiring cheerleader who is working out to impress a girl named Amber and to get on the cheerleading team. And Steve, who's dressed up and acts like a pirate. What did you think of this cast of characters?
I thought it was like pretty cool. You wouldn't normally see these people at like a body shaming gym, you know?
Yeah, they wouldn't.
It makes sense that they're like at there. But I did wonder, like in the whole gym, there was like no women there.
That's true, huh? It was all guys. Well, average Joe's. Joe's kind of like a guy. So I guess it's more like a guy's gym. You're right, huh? There is no women there.
Yeah. But like, I doubt he would be like, you're a woman, get out. Like, that's not his personality.
No. Peter walks into his office and finds Catherine. She's a lawyer sent by the bank to help him get his finances in order to avoid foreclosure. He has 30 days to pay $50,000. We see that his financial records are a huge mess, and he's not collected membership fees for the last 13 months.
He's the opposite of you.
Why?
All your finances would never be a mess like his.
No, and my gym charges me every month without, even during COVID, they're like, when they were closed, they didn't charge us, but the second they opened up, they started charging us immediately, so. Peter finds out that Globo Gym has bought out his mortgage and wants to demolish his gym and turn it into a parking lot. Peter visits White at his state-of-the-art gym, and it turns hostile. Kind of start arguing back and forth. That's the one thing that kind of a little bit annoyed me, is every time White would say stuff, he would just kind of talk weird. He just talked kind of like a weird guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and he was always trying to win at conversation, even when like conversations were arguments.
Yeah, he kind of talked funny, so.
He is meant to be like a villain though, so.
Of course.
Also, he goes into this little tanning bed before he leaves, and it looks like a coffin.
Yeah, that's right. He gets in the tanning bed right there.
But it looks like a coffin. I'm like, did he just like go into a little coffin to just like take a nap?
Yeah, you had asked, but was that a coffin? I'm like, no, it's a tanning bed. Yeah. Peter talks to his gym regulars about the impending foreclosure, and they come up with a plan to make the money. After they attempt a car wash and fail, Gordon says they should join a dodgeball tournament in Las Vegas. The cash prize is conveniently $50,000. All they have to do is win a small regional tournament to get in. Do you like the car wash?
No.
I imagine we'll talk about the car wash later as well. The average Joes agree, and Justin gets an instructional video from his school. The video is made in 1938, and it features Patches O'Houlihan, a dodgeball champion.
Or Mr. Hula Hoop.
Mr. Hula Hoop, according to Natalie, yeah. Patches goes over the rules and some tips to be great.
At my school, they call dodgeball agility ball because, like, apparently at our school, you're not allowed to say dodge for some reason. I don't know why. So we always joke about it. And we'll be like, we're playing dodgeball. And then everyone gasps. And they're like, oh, did you just say the D word?
Really?
Yeah.
You can't say dodge, or you can't say dodgeball?
Dodge.
That's hilarious.
And it's because of dodgeball, so we always joke around and be like, please don't tell the teacher I said dodgeball.
That's funny. I wonder why. I bet you because dodgeball has a bad connotation, like it's a bad thing. Catherine is at Globo Gym trying to get the average Joe's acquisition in order. White is a total creep to her and comes on strong. He even says that they should mate a date. You think he did that on purpose when he said, I think we should mate a date?
Honestly, he's kind of an idiot, so he probably did it on accident.
Maybe. He was thinking it, but he didn't try to say it like a joke. I don't know. She rejects him, saying she doesn't date men she works with, and leaves. Did you know, Natalie, those two actors were actually married during this movie?
Really?
Yeah, so the Ben Stiller and Christine Taylor, they're married. They were married for like 20 years. I don't know if they're still married now, but...
That's so funny.
I know. I'd be funny, like, to be in a movie, like, with mom, and then she's like... Then I'm like a total creep to her, you know, like that would be kind of funny, you know. Yeah. She could tell, you could tell she just to him, right?
You just hate each other when, like, in reality, you like go in the car home together after the shoot. Yeah. How was your day, babe?
Yeah, and like, you know, they're like, I would never date you, but then they're married. You know,
yeah,
it's kind of funny. Gordon enters the average Joes into the regional tournament. They practice, and they are terrible. Justin does the sign of the cross before he begins, and gets smashed over and over and over again. We also find out White has a camera in the gym and sees their plan to enter the dodgeball tournament.
I'm shocked they didn't destroy the cardboard cutout beforehand, because it took a while for them to, like, break it while playing. But, like, don't you think they would see it and be like, I hate you, and then rip it in half, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't just, like, leave it up.
Maybe it was, like, inspiration. Like, we want to destroy him. Kind of get him angry. I don't know. Did you like the sign of the cross?
Yeah.
At the regional tournaments, all the average Joes have to do is beat Girl Scout Troop 417. They think that will be easy, but are completely decimated. Later at the award ceremony, Troop 417 is disqualified because of the use of PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs.
This is what I mean by, like, one of the tropes that could have done it. They could have easily, like, did the trope of always winning in the plot armor and everything and just won their way through. But they were exactly as terrible as in the scene before.
Yeah.
And it's funny that they only got it on a complication, because that's something that will, like, only be in that movie.
You know, it's funny. It kind of reminded me of Pitch Perfect. Remember, they lost, but then the boy was in high school.
Yeah.
And so that's how they ended up getting to the finals, even though they got into third place.
But in Pitch Perfect, they took it seriously. Like, they're like, wow, he's high schooler, and they made, like, a whole build-up. But in this one, some guy just comes out with a paper and be like, they're on drugs.
Yeah, it's funny. Anyway, so the average Joes win because of the disqualification, and they're on their way to Las Vegas. At a local bar, the crew celebrate. Then White comes in with huge buff guys and Fran, the female dodgeball champion. White tells everyone his team, the Cobras, is going to Las Vegas and they will win the tournament. In the parking lot, Patches O'Houlihan, or
Mr. Hula Hoop,
now an old man in a wheelchair, approaches Peter and says that the average Joes are a disgrace and that he will train them.
At first, in the car wash scene, there's, like, this creepy old guy that, like, is having the kid wash his car. And at first I was like, wait, is Patches Hula Hoop the, like, old guy from before? I couldn't.
Yeah, no, we find out that's not the same guy, but yeah.
I
didn't even
what?
think about him. That's funny, you were thinking that he was going to show up in the movie. And he did. Then we see a training montage where Patches throws wrenches, uses a pitching machine, and even has a team run through traffic. Eventually, the team starts to improve. You like that traffic move?
It was funny.
It was funny.
Because
he got hit.
So ridiculous, and, like, it would never really happen. But, like, it's funny.
It is funny. And then the poor old guy, Gordon, he gets hit by a car. And he's like, I'm okay. And then he gets hit by another car.
And then in the next scene, he's, like, perfectly fine. No broken bones or anything.
Nothing. Yeah. Or the wrench that Justin took right in the face the first time. Because he was like, what? And he took it right in the face.
And why'd he target the little kid to throw a wrench at?
I know he's a high school kid. I know Sophia, like, maybe because she's in high school, like, she felt so bad about this boy. Kind of like, I feel so bad for him. He's always getting picked on. He's always getting hit hard. Because he got hit the most, I think, out of the whole movie, you know?
Yeah.
I think everybody took a good hit, but I think he took the worst one, yeah. Especially the wrench to the face. That night, White goes to Catherine's house and tries to woo her. He said that he even got her fired from the bank so they can date him.
That's not how it works.
I know, for reals. Then White tries to kiss her and Catherine slams his head against the wall and he leaves. Later, Catherine agrees to join the Average Joe's dodgeball team to get back at White.
I think it's also not just about getting back at White, because before she was like, because she kind of seemed like she wanted to join the team earlier when she was, like, kind of practiced with them. But then she's like, oh, that would be unprofessional. Yeah. And now that she's fired, she's like, oh, I can join the team now.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe she always wanted to be part of the team. I think she liked the Joes, right? I think that she thought they were cool and nice and they were welcoming. The tournament begins, and the Average Joes play Team Blitzkrieg, coached by none other than David Hasselhoff. The Hoff is huge in Germany, so it's kind of a funny joke.
I only know David Hasselhoff from the SpongeBob movie.
The Average Joes struggle at first, but get the win. The next 3 matches, the Average Joes and the Cobras face stereotypical teams like the Lumberjacks, the Kamikazes, Skills That Kills, the Las Vegas PD, and the Flying Cougars.
The Skills That Kills, they were just dancing. I don't know how they got so far already.
Yeah, I know, right? Because they were like the second or third round, right?
Yeah, and they were just like, woohoo, we're dancing. We're just having a good time.
They were just doing funny dancing, yeah. Both the Cobras and the Joes win every match, and the finals are set. The Average Joes versus the Cobras. The night before the finals, Patches is killed by a falling neon sign, and the team begins to have doubts. Peter goes back to his room and finds White there. White offers Peter $100,000 for the deed of the Average Joes. We find out later that Peter actually takes the money. Later that night, Peter tells the team they will probably lose and yells at Steve to stop acting like a pirate.
I don't get this because he's just, it's harmless. It's not like he's hurting anyone acting like a pirate.
Yeah, and I think that they were fine with him acting like... I think Peter just got frustrated with everything.
Yeah.
And Steve ended up taking it seriously.
Yeah.
He stopped being a pirate, right?
But still, like, Steve, he's just having a good time. He's not hurting anyone. No one's getting hurt or, like, nothing bad is happening to anyone because he's being a pirate. Like, so just leave him be.
Yeah, no, I agree. There was no need for him to be that. At this point, Peter kind of blows it, right? Because we find out what he does next. The next day, Peter leaves without telling anyone. He actually leaves. He's at the airport, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like he's like, at the hotel, he's thinking about going. He actually left.
Yeah.
And just walks out on his team.
And after he blows up on Steve, and Steve goes missing, so he knows they're not going to be able to compete because Steve's not there.
Right. The next part, Justin meets Amber, and she asks him to fill in for a hurt cheerleader. He agrees when he finds out that he will be back for the dodgeball tournament. So at the tournament, Peter, which is at the airport, Justin, who's still at the cheerleading competition, and Steve are all not there. The sad thing is, even if Justin was there, they still would have had to forfeit.
Yeah.
So Peter just let his team fail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of messed up when you think about it. They forfeit the match.
Also, one of the things when Justin finds, what's her name, Amber?
Yeah.
Amber, she's like, what are you doing here? And he, like, immediately says, oh, I'm in the dodgeball competition. Where this is something stereotypical where they'd be like, I'm just here. Like, they wouldn't actually say because they'd be embarrassed. But he was like, okay, because that's, like, who he is. He's not trying to hide anything to impress her.
Yeah. I mean, there's a scene in the beginning of the movie where Justin says, I'm trying to get back on the cheerleading team so that way people don't make fun of me. And then Peter's like, you went to high school at a different time than I did because people would make fun of you for being on the cheerleading team.
Yeah.
But Justin didn't care. He just wanted to be on the cheerleading team. First, he wanted to be on the team, and second, he liked that girl Amber. So
yeah, so I liked how he was never trying to, like, hide what he was doing with the whole dodgeball. How he, like, seemed to really care about it, and, like, he wasn't afraid to tell anyone about it.
And he wasn't embarrassed or anything like that. Justin comes back after helping the cheerleaders win their tournament, so they actually win the tournament with him. Peter also returns after a motivational speech by Lance Armstrong. To overturn the forfeit, they need to have 2 out of 3 judges give them a thumbs up. First judge says yes, second judge says no, and the third judge, Chuck Norris, gives them a thumbs up. The match is on. Chuck Norris is a karate champion who ended up making movies. He even fought Bruce Lee in the movie The Way of the Dragon. So, like, Chuck Norris is a cool guy, man. He's awesome. So I'm a huge fan of him. And he's, his one contribution to this movie is that thumbs up that he put out there.
And then they're all like, I hate you, Chuck Norris. Like the other team.
The other team. Yeah, actually, the one F-bomb in the credit. But they say one towards Chuck Norris, right?
Yeah.
White says it at the end of the movie. After a great match, the Joes seemingly lose. But it's overturned on a foot fault. The match goes into sudden death, where it is a one-on-one match between Peter and White. Peter blindfolds himself with Patch's scarf, and he wins the match. That was just dumb. That was just so dumb. Why would he put a blindfold on?
I expected him to put on the blindfold and everyone to be like, what is he doing? And then, like, put it up like a bandana.
Oh, I see. Like, he was pretending to put it on and then put it up.
Yeah, I thought, and I was like, wait, is he actually going to do it? Like, I thought it was going to be, like, he wasn't actually going to use it as a blindfold, but instead, like, a scarf.
It was funny. I thought it was funny. White is angry but still owns the Average Joe's gym. Peter tells everyone that he bet the $100,000 on the Joes winning the tournament and won $5 million. It comes in a treasure chest that says Deus Ex Machina. Peter plans on buying Globo Gym and getting Average Joe's back. They celebrate and Peter and Catherine kiss.
I think one thing that is weird about this movie is that when they found out he sold Average Joe's, but then he, like, got it back, they weren't, like, mad at all. They were just like, oh, okay. Like, Don't you think you would still be mad? Because, like, what if we didn't win? Like, what would have you done then? Like, that would have jeopardized everyone.
At the end of the day, would you ever trust that guy again?
Yeah.
Because he left. I know he came back, but he did leave, so. The other thing is the treasure chest says Deus Ex Machina. Do you know what that means?
No.
It means, like, machine from God. That's the actual translation. But Deus Ex Machina in movies is like a plot device that the answer to every impossible situation comes to them, right? So they've lost the gym. They don't have anything. And then this money comes to them at the last moment to save their lives. I don't know. So it's kind of funny that the treasure chest itself said it. Kind of like, hey guys, we know it's a silly solution to the problem, but here it is. We're gonna even call it out.
Yeah.
Which kind of goes in line with the, doesn't take itself so seriously situation.
Yeah.
At the end, we see a new commercial with Peter and his new gym and their new philosophy. And we see White, who's overweight and very angry. The end.
Yay!
5 stars. Whoa, I'm so happy. I guess you do have your father's ridiculously goofy sense of humor after all, Natalie. I don't know. Maybe so. All right, Nat. Could this movie still be made today?
Probably not.
Probably not. There's a lot to it, yeah. Go ahead.
So, I think that the whole point of the gym was like the whole body shaming gym, but they made a point to show like that wasn't the right way, because in the end it was like you should love your body, but like if you want to lose pounds, then you can come to our gym. So
Sure.
They kind of knew that it wasn't like that's just how gyms worked back in the day. No, they knew what was going on.
That was wrong.
So
yeah.
they were just using that as thing to make the people evil, So I don't really think that was part. But I think that they were really mean to all the women.
Okay, they were really mean to all the women. Go ahead.
So Kate wouldn't be left alone. And then when she showed that she was strong and stuff, and they were like, oh, well, she's a lesbian. If she's a strong woman, then she's not straight or anything.
Yeah, okay.
And they also used the D slur against her.
Yes.
After calling her a lesbian.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Anything else?
They also used the R word lots of times.
A lot of R words, yeah.
And the whole car wash, that whole scene was pretty terrible.
So what do you mean by what do you mean by that?
So on the other side, there was a bunch of like girls, and they were like teenagers too, right?
I don't know. I don't know if they were high school girls or if they were the girls that went to the gym, because it was a global gym that was running the car wash, right?
Oh, really?
You know what? I'm not really sure.
I don't think that it was.
You don't think so? I know it was across the street, like right next to where they are, and their gym is across the street from Global Gym. But it could have been the other street, right?
Because they were like, oh, how unlucky that it's the same day. But they weren't like, curse you, Global Gym. They were just like, oh, that's unlucky. So I don't think it would be Global Gym. Because if it was, they'd be like, they knew what we were doing. They were plotting against us.
Yeah.
But they're like young girls, and they're all in like bikinis washing the car.
Yes.
And then you see all the people in the cars are just like men.
Yeah. The whole point that they're not there for a car wash, right?
Yeah.
They're there to watch those girls.
And then on the other side, poor Justin is getting preyed on by this old man that I thought was Mr. Hula Hoop.
Yeah, I know. And then they were okay with it.
Yeah, and they just
he did it over and over. He paid over and over and over again to do the car wash, just to see Justin bent over, because he was in a bikini too, right?
I think he was just wearing like normal shorts.
Like short shorts, and the guy was just checking him out, and then they were like, "You got adults, right?" All those other guys in the gym are adults except for Justin, who's a teenager. And they were like...
They're not even protecting this
They're not
kid.
even protecting him. Yeah, 100%. Totally wrong. Anything else?
I did like how like Kate was in the movie. She was just kind of like strong person. But in the whole Average Joe's, there was like no women in the gym ever.
That's a good point. I didn't even notice.
And then that in Global Gym, there were women, but they were always just there because they had to be, because they would be ugly otherwise. That's what they thought.
Right. And they were just... And then the woman... There was one person that came out of the...
Plastic surgery?
Yeah, and it was a woman, right? The one person that came out of the plastic surgery center was a woman during the commercial, so... Yeah,
which is like kind of trying to be stereotypical that, oh, women always need to like change themselves and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Does it pass the Bechdel test?
It does, actually.
No, it does?
It does.
All right, let's go over the Bechdel test. Once again, it is a quick test to talk about female representation in movies and TV shows. There are 3 criteria. Are there 2 named women in the movie? That's the first criteria.
Yeah, there's Kate and there's Amber.
Amber. Okay, and there's Fran, too. Talk about that, right? So she looked hideous, right? They had like the unibrow and the fake teeth. And they made her like look like really ugly.
Uh-huh.
So that's another female character.
But I also think it's kind of good in the fact that she had like her own little love story with the guy on the other side.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, but she and Owen end
Yeah.
up falling in love and end up together right at the end of the movie. So
Yeah, and he like sees her and he's like, wow, she's so beautiful. It shows that like not everyone has to be followed by a standard, you know?
yeah, he like felt like the second he saw her, it was like Lady in Red, like the song came
Yeah.
on, and so it was really funny. But yeah, so so we have at least 3 characters that are named. Criteria number 2: do they talk to each other?
Fran talks to Kate at some point with like when they were all getting introduced, and then they were all in a group and they were talking.
But I don't think they talk to each other.
No, not specifically. But Kate talks to her own girlfriend, Joyce,
When?
at the end of the movie when she's like, I'm bi.
That's right. So Joyce, that's right. You're right. That's a hilarious point. I mean, terribly, barely like thin. You're going thin, right?
Yeah.
I think so. Anyways, did they talk about anything other than a man?
No, they're talking about how she came back from Guam. Yay!
That is so funny. That is funny because at the end, the joke that they've said that she's lesbian the whole time, she ends up being bisexual. Peter's like, oh, she has a girlfriend. And then she ends up kissing him. And she's like, no, I'm bisexual. Although that still doesn't make sense.
That doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I know. Just because you like boys and girls doesn't mean you're going to leave your girlfriend for another boy.
Or like you can't have 2 people at once. That's polynormous or whatever.
Polyamorous, yeah.
Polyamorous, yeah.
So yeah, there's more to it than that. But that's funny. I don't even remember. I forgot that scene. I didn't forget the scene. I remember the scene, but I didn't think of it.
And the girl is named because she goes, Joyce? So technically she's named.
She's the main character, yeah. She's in the movie for 4 seconds.
Uh-huh. And that makes it past the
And they talk to each other for 3 seconds. They kiss for 1, and then there you go. That passed the Bechdel test. In the last half a second of the movie.
And I think that's kind of cool because they're not talking about a man because they love each other.
Okay. Well, there you go. It passes the Bechdel test.
Yay! 2 seconds.
I know.
That's a little sad though.
It's a sad, yeah, because it does. I don't watch this movie and go, I think women are portrayed wonderfully in this movie. You don't, right? Obviously not. So, all right. Anything else?
No.
Thank you for tuning in to Papi Approved Movies.
If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast app.
We put out an episode every Monday. If you want to suggest a movie for us to watch and critique,
email us at papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com.
That's papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com. No spaces, no caps.
We'll try our best to get to your suggestion.
And remember, it has to be PG-13.
Next week, we're watching 10 Things I Hate About You, which starts our month of romance movies for the month of February. So I hope you join us.
I'm Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
See you next time.
Bye.